1, 2, 3, 4.
Hi guys, and welcome to another episode of Marketing in the Madness, live from Shoptalk in Barcelona, where I am interviewing some of the leading minds when it comes to retail innovation. And I have a fantastic guest who I have just interviewed from Mars Food and Nutrition. Mars, obviously a huge brand. They've got so many brands underneath them. In fact, probably lots of pet care brands that you didn't even realize were owned by Mars. And we're going to talk about some of those. But I have with me today the fantastic Balki, Chief Digital and Information Officer at Mars. And we delve into some of the really cool and innovative things they are doing when it comes to implementing AI and personalization across the business. Let's go meet Balki. So hi, Balki, and thank you for joining me on today's podcast. Now, we're going to be delving into a subject which is high on everyone's priority list, AI and personalization. But before we do that, of course, you work for a huge business, Mars. Can you tell me a little bit about your role, what you do at Mars? And for those that don't know, the breadth of amazing brands that you look after, maybe also talk about some of the brands as well.
Yeah, sure. First of all, thanks for inviting me. Super excited to be part of this. I'm really privileged to be working for Mars. Mars is a family-owned business. It's a $50 billion brand. It has multiple divisions. We cater to pet care, to snacking, and to human food and nutrition. In my role, I'm the Chief Digital and Information Officer for the Food and Nutrition division. So you would have heard of brands like Ben's Original, Seeds of Change, Dolmio, for those in the US, Kevin's. So these are part of the Mars Food and Nutrition portfolio. Some amazing brands which have been there for a long time and consumers love it. So I'm really proud to be representing that division. And in my role, I lead the digital strategy as well as the technology, strategy, execution, and operations for the division.
And I'm guessing, therefore, because you're leading the technology and the digital strategy, AI has been pretty high on the agenda?
Yes, and AI has evolved. There are a lot of capabilities in AI that Mars has been leading for a number of years. So a few years back, it was more of data science, machine learning, how do you use data and insights to progress your business. And now it's quite easily confused with Gen AI, which is a on-top capability that has come and taken things by storm. So we've been looking at AI for a long time, building those capabilities because it's quite central to how we progress our business and a big tool for our business to go with. A number of our divisions have done a lot of good stuff as far as data science, using the power of data to get insights and progress the business. And there are a number of cool cases in AI as well that we have done in the past across various divisions. Some of the examples are a big José Mourinho campaign, which was done for Snickers in the UK. Basically, AI clone of José Mourinho, fully rights-based and authorized, which basically is, a mate of yours who has scored some own goals can get a message back from José Mourinho on a WhatsApp, with a message that you want to send your friend. There's other use cases in the pet care world which are really useful to progress the business as well and help the pets. So, for example, your use cases like rapid read tooth scan, which really look at x-rays of your pets, come up with what the diagnosis could be, could look at your pet's tooth, figure out what the problems with tooth is, predict tooth problems, which are some of the biggest problems that your pets face, and can proactively take measures and recommendations to do that. And then there are some usual cases as well wherein you use AI for optimization, for cost efficiencies, for creating content in a faster way that can adapt to your brand and really get the full use of AI. So there are lots of cool use cases from a generative AI perspective as well that we're working on.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the thing, isn't it? The technology actually solves a lot of problems, a lot of different problems. So analysing where the bottlenecks are in your business and which problems AI potentially could help you with. I guess when you're thinking about your AI strategy is a really important one, because it has to be problem first, solution second, not, okay, yeah, there's all this cool AI technology, let me just implement and try it. You really have to think about the problems in the business that AI can help you solve, or the bottlenecks, not always problems, the things that you are maybe time consuming or slowing the teams down. When you guys, I mean, I might be wrong. I have a very small business. Certainly not the size of Mars. But when you're thinking about your AI strategies, therefore, how do you pick the right tools? How do you define, okay, yes, AI could help us with this. We could implement a technology here to help us.
So I think there are various ways to look at it. So one is, what are the foundational capabilities that you need in the business, in the technology, to be able to be ready to use that capability? So it really starts with data, understanding your data, having a clean space that you can derive insights from that data, etc. The second is capabilities of the teams and our associates to be able to use the tools and to be able to create the right results and outcomes out of that. And specifically from a generative AI standpoint, it's quite key to have a responsible AI mindset, which is, these tools are great. They're there for powering innovation, for growth, and for efficiency. But at the same time, if you're not careful, it could create harm as well. So you don't want to impact your brands in an adverse manner. So what are those foundational guardrails, principles that we need to really adopt, such that anything that we build, like you rightly said, there is a core purpose for it and it gives you scaled results. And at the same time, we follow the right principles, ethics, and make sure that what we stand for, which is to be in the service of our consumers, our pet parents, and foodies, we really are able to stick to that all the time. So all these are some critical aspects that you need to establish over a period of time to really sweat what AI can provide.
Yeah, I think that is you've kind of started to lean into something there, which is really important. Like in the world of today, where we're all craving authenticity, we want as much of the content that we consume to be real. Like there is a very fine line between authenticity and brand protection and utilizing AI. So how do you make sure that you strike the right balance for a big brand like Mars as well?
Yes, and that's absolutely key. So from a Mars perspective, the principles that the organization is founded is core to it. And when new capabilities like AI come, we need to find ways to make sure that we adhere to those principles. So one of the key things that has evolved in the last couple of years is what we call the Responsible AI Board, which is formed of a cross-function team of senior leaders who basically contribute to make sure that this governance framework works in the best possible manner, such that whatever we do is founded on these core principles and ensures that everything that we do is ethical. It is under the guidelines which are serving the ultimate need of what we are using this capability for. And it's not just something that is loose out there and people, use it in whatever way they want, because that can be really harmful as we go forward.
Yeah. And the other thing, I guess, is, quite a huge thing. I guess as a business now, have you started to implement things like AI policies or how people can interact? Because there are some big businesses I know that are just not allowed, their teams are not allowed to use AI, or they're only allowed to use certain types of AI because they want to be ethical. I don't think that's the right way, because I think that they're potentially damaging themselves by not exploring these technologies. But what's your kind of standpoint as a business on policies, ethically using it, teaching the teams how and what they can and can't do?
Yeah, absolutely. So using AI in the right way, in the ethical way, as per Mars principles, is non-negotiable. And that's what the RAI policy framework provides. So there's a governance framework, which is essentially the do's and don'ts, the guardrails, etc. And they are founded on Mars principles, code of conduct, how we do our business. They take into account what our brand guidelines are so that we absolutely ensure brand safety. That then interacts with our technology and enterprise architecture teams to make sure that security, data privacy, understanding where bias comes in, the question of ethics, all these pieces are taken care of. And then the entire life cycle of the process, which is somebody wants to introduce a certain use case. What does that use case mean? What is the outcome of that? And how does it filter through the entire governance process in a structured manner so that we are clear on what we are looking at implementing, and does that follow all the guardrails and the framework that we have put in place. It's a very structured process. When we started it, it obviously takes some time to settle in. You need to take all the associates along. You need to explain the reasons for why these are being put. And that's been some fantastic work that has been done over the last couple of years. And now it's in a place where everybody understands what is it in the service of, why it's important, and how do you run through those use cases in a structured way so that everybody gets what they want, but they're clear that they're getting it in the right way, such that at the end, everybody's proud of what the outcomes of that are.
Yeah. I mean, you've got some very cool brands underneath the Mars umbrella and lots of them. Can you dive into, and I know you've given an example already, but one of the most innovative examples of AI that you've got across the brand portfolio, one of the ones that you're maybe the most proud of?
There definitely are several examples of that. I would definitely say that something like the José Mourinho one is quite a cool one. There's also another one that comes to mind, and that's called the Pedigree Adoptables. So again, coming back to the whole point of why are you doing AI? You're doing AI because it is in the purpose of what your brand stands for. And the Pedigree Adoptable is a cool example of that. So Pedigree as a brand stands for helping adoption of pets from shelters. That's its main purpose. And this particular AI campaign that was launched was exactly in the service of that. And how it works essentially is you've got shelters and they've got pictures of their pets in the shelters. The campaign was all about collecting those pictures and enhancing them to ensure that, those pets are represented in the best possible manner. They were then geo-located, and then campaigns were served based on those pictures to prospective pet parents. And this was in Australia and New Zealand. And the targeting also was done in a way which took into account the most probability of which localities favor which kind of pets, etc. And once you see those ads, those digital pet photos were placed in the Pedigree campaigns. And these are pets that you can adopt. And you could imagine across cities in New Zealand or Australia, you see a Pedigree ad with a pet that you can adopt. And anybody could scan that and say that, yes, this is the pet I want. And that pet was then adopted by the end pet parent. And then that pet was no longer available in the catalog of adoption. So that's a very cool case of how you could use AI, generative AI, analytics, and efficiency in media operations, but in the purpose of the ultimate goal of the brand, which is to help, a pet in a shelter. So I think that is a pretty cool case. It's won a lot of awards. And the good thing is once you do those kind of things, you are taking a lot of learnings from it. There's a lot of inspiration across other brands. And there's a lot of things you've established as a foundation that you can then put into practice for other brands.
Yeah.
So that's how you learn, to innovate. And that's how you then pick up speed as you go along.
Yeah, I think that's such a beautiful example of a campaign because it kind of goes back to, at the end of the day, it's a very emotive, real, I want to say human, but it's dogs. But it is, we want to help. It goes back to that raw emotion. And really all the AI is doing is helping spread the message and create the content and, target the right people. So it's about the, campaign and the humanity of the campaign first. And then it's about how can we utilize technology to help it scale.
And every step of the way is a learning for all the teams because there's a lot of things that you've not done before. But it's those guardrails, it's those policies, it's those non-negotiables that keep you on track. So when you encounter an obstacle, whether it is a security issue or an ethics issue or something that we should not be doing, how do you tackle it? And then that becomes part of your, kitty going forward, that you then say that, yes, I'm satisfied with how I'm doing it. This is how it should be done. And it's available for the next use case.
Yeah, I'm so with you on that. That fast learning, sometimes making mistakes, but, looking at trying new things, seeing what happens, what works, what doesn't work, how can we improve for the next time? That's what it's all about. Now, my last question, because it's getting very loud. I feel like my team are going to have a really fun job.
Saying AI to filter the sound.
Oh, no, yeah, we do, yeah. Tell us which one to use, Balki. We need some AI cleaning tool today. But before I let you go off and enjoy the rest of the show, I just wanted to ask, what advice would you give someone who's looking, maybe another retail company, similar or dissimilar to Mars? What advice would you give them if they're looking to go, okay, we need to really get up to date with AI now and start to implement some AI strategies within the business?
Yeah. Again, AI is very broad. So I think be clear on what AI are we talking about. So if it's data science, insights, machine learning, analytics, it's one AI. If it's about productivity for your associates, efficiency, day-to-day automation, it's another type of learning. If it's about generative AI, more cool stuff, more out there stuff, and then it's a different thing. But all in all, what I would say is, first of all, what problem are you trying to solve? And is it really worth it? And is it in line with the principles of your organization, the principles of the brand that you're trying to solve? I think that's why. Secondly, take time to put in the right governance and bring the right people in to form that cross-functional team so that all the minds are aligned on what is that framework that you will follow and is non-negotiable. That's really critical. The third thing is don't go in for shiny stuff, right? So there's a lot of folks who will try to sell a lot of things. Don't fall into that trap. Be clear of what you're developing. Is it worth it? And is it there for the long term? And it's not a short sell that can hurt a lot of things as a consequence. So I would say that, those are the 2-3 things to keep in mind. And I think the fourth thing is you need to build a community within your organization that over a period of time is clear about all these things, the governance, the do's and don'ts, and bring them along the journey in terms of awareness, education, proof of concepts, creating a canvas where they can try stuff for themselves. Because that's the movement you eventually want, participation of everyone with a clear knowledge of what they're trying to do, right? And how it helps them. So I think these are 3-4 things I would, advise them. Learn a lot. There's a lot of material there on YouTube. Self-learning is very important as well. Nobody is going to... Don't depend on someone else to come and say, tell me what it is. There's enough material out there to really start the journey yourself.
Yeah, I love that. I think someone said to me once, master AI or AI will master you. So I do think there's a lot in that, but very sound advice, Balki. And thank you so much for joining me. And thank you for coping with the chaos of the conference in the background. You've been a fantastic guest.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. So if you enjoyed this interview and you want to come and meet me and some of these amazing retail leaders at Shoptalk yourself, you've got 2, not just 1, 2 opportunities to do that. First up, we are going to be with Shoptalk again at Shoptalk Lux in Abu Dhabi from the 27th to the 29th of January. Just Google Shoptalk Lux and you should find it and you can go and register to come and join us. And also, we are going to be back in Barcelona, possibly one of my favourite cities in the world, on the 9th to the 11th of June 2026. So be there or miss out.